Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. The studio lights had always loved Kelly Ripa. They wrapped around her like old friends, forgiving, familiar, warm. For decades, they had witnessed her laughter crackle across morning televisions, her wit darting like a hummingbird between coffee cups and cue cards, her smile steady even when the world felt anything but. But on this particular morning, the lights felt heavier, brighter, as if they were asking something of her she wasn't sure she could give anymore. Kelly sat at the glass cable, fingers curled around her mug. The steam rose and vanished before it reached her face. Across from her, Mark smiled, her partner in life and often in conversation, though his eyes searched hers with a quiet question. The countdown ticked. 3, 2, 1. "Good morning," she said, and the words landed softly, thinner than usual. America replied with its familiar hum, a million kitchens and offices and dorm rooms leaning in, expecting comfort, banter, the ritual of ease. They began as always. Headlines, jokes, a story about a rescue dog that made Kelly laugh despite herself. The audience laughed too. The laughter was real, but it trembled like glassware set too close to the edge of a table. Halfway through the show, as the segment shifted and the prompter paused, something changed. Kelly felt it in her chest first, a tightening that had been visiting her more often lately, uninvited and insistent. She inhaled, felt the breath stop short. "I want to talk about something," she said, turning to Mark, then back to the camera. "I wasn't sure I would, but I think it's time." The room stilled. Producers froze behind the cameras. The audience leaned forward. Somewhere a cue card slipped from someone's hand and hit the floor with a soft thud that sounded too loud. Kelly smiled, the reflex of a lifetime. Then the smile faded. "For a long time," she said, "I've been really good at being okay, at showing up, at being the version of myself that's expected. And I love this job. I love all of you." Her voice caught just barely. "But lately, I haven't been okay in the quiet moments, and pretending otherwise it's been harder than I ever thought it would be." The words rippled outward. Social media lit up. Fans froze mid-sip, mid-step, mid-scroll. Mark reached for her hand. She let him. "I've been dealing with something deeply personal," Kelly continued. "Something emotional, something that doesn't have a quick fix or a punchline. And I realized I couldn't keep carrying it alone or hiding it behind jokes." Silence, then a breath, then another. "I don't know what this means for my future, here or anywhere, but I know I needed to say it out loud." The show went to commercial earlier than planned. Within minutes, the internet erupted. "Is Kelly leaving? What happened to her? Is she okay? We love you, Kelly." Speculation bloomed like wildfire, unchecked and hungry. Some fans dissected her words with surgical precision. Others defended her fiercely, reminding the world that even icons were human. A few cried openly in comments, recalling mornings when Kelly's laughter had been the only bright spot in difficult days. In the control room, executives whispered. In offices across the city, phones rang. Contracts and calendars and contingency plans began to shift, invisible but urgent. Backstage, Kelly sat alone for a moment, her heels kicked off, her feet pressed against the cool floor. She felt lighter and heavier all at once. The truth had escaped her, and there was no calling it back. Mark joined her, closing the door gently behind him. "You did the brave thing," he said. She nodded. "I don't feel brave. I feel exposed." "Sometimes that's the same thing," he replied. The days that followed were a blur of headlines and hashtags. Kelly Ripa's emotional confession stuns fans. Future in question after on-air revelation. Analysts debated whether vulnerability was a risk in an industry built on polish. Others argued it was exactly what television needed, a reminder that morning sunshine could coexist with shadows. Kelly stayed home more. She walked the neighborhood early when the streets were quiet and forgiving. She listened to podcasts she'd saved but never had time for. She let herself sit with the discomfort instead of pushing it away. At night, she lay awake, replaying the moment she'd spoken, wondering if she'd said too much or not enough. "Do you regret it?" Mark asked one evening as they folded laundry together, the ordinary
No,
intimacy brown.
she said after a pause. I regret waiting so long. The network requested a meeting. Kelly arrived with a notebook she didn't open. She'd spent years preparing for interviews, negotiations, transitions. This felt different. This felt like standing at the edge of a familiar cliff, uncertain whether she was meant to leap or step back. "We support you," the executive said, sincere and careful. The audience responded with incredible empathy, but we also need to know, are you considering stepping away? Kelly looked at the city through the window, sunlight slicing between buildings. She thought about mornings spent laughing on set, about the rhythm of the show, the family it had become. She thought about the quiet ache she'd carried, the exhaustion of being endlessly on. "I'm considering choosing myself," she said, for once. The executive nodded. "Take the time you need." It wasn't an answer, but it was a beginning. Fans noticed her absence immediately. Guest hosts filled the chair, capable and charming, but the room felt different without her. Viewers sent letters, actual letters, thick envelopes filled with gratitude and stories. A nurse wrote about watching the show during night shifts. A single mother described how Kelly's humor had gotten her through chemo appointments. A teenager confessed that seeing Kelly balance career and family had made her believe she could do the same. Kelly read every one. The emotional battle she'd hinted at didn't vanish. Healing rarely did, but it shifted. It became shared, softened by community, steadied by honesty. One afternoon, she sat with her therapist, hands folded, voice calm. "I don't know who I am without the show," Kelly admitted. "Then maybe this is a chance to find out," the therapist said. The idea terrified her and thrilled her. When Kelly returned to the studio weeks later, the applause was thunderous. She stood, overwhelmed, blinking back tears she didn't bother hiding this time. "Thank you," she said simply, "for letting me be human." She didn't announce a decision. She didn't need to. The audience understood that some answers took time. The show continued, reshaped subtly by truth. The jokes still landed, the laughter still came, but now there was room for pauses, for sincerity, for the acknowledgement that joy and pain often shared the same space. Mark squeezed her hand under the table. "You okay?" he asked. She smiled. This time it reached her eyes. "I'm learning to be." Months passed. Rumors flared and faded. Kelly explored projects she'd postponed, writing, producing, mentoring young hosts. She spent more mornings watching the sun rise instead of racing it. She discovered that stepping back didn't mean disappearing, it meant expanding. One evening, she addressed her fans directly through a quiet video message. No studio lights, no audience, just her, honest and present. "I don't have a grand announcement," she said, "only gratitude and a promise to keep choosing truth over fear. Whatever comes next, I'll meet it with the same heart I've always brought to you." The response was immediate and overwhelming. "We're with you. Take your time. Your honesty matters." Kelly set the phone down and breathed. Her future was still in question, but for the first time in a long while, that uncertainty felt less like a threat and more like an open door.